I've been forgetting to do something for a very long time. I write short stories. I love short stories because you get in, you write something nice and sweet. I mean, it can just be even one really cool scene. It doesn't have to be anything crazy and you're out. You don't marry the thing. It's not like a movie where you're committed for an hour and something, because I find it very hard. Like, to write a complete movie script would take many hours, and usually takes many people. That's why movies are so inconsistent a lot of the time. But yeah, just sometimes you have to stretch it out with fluff to make the time. So I'm going to read one of my stories. It's not very long. And at the end, if I've still got time, if not, I'll continue it in the next video. I'll tell you what my rationale was for writing the story and the way it is and everything. So this is not even the finished version of it. It's only going to be a little longer. But I had an idea for a story where aliens come and watch us and they observe and see what we're up to. So I'm going to try to not keep it fucking boring. Actually, there's one way I could keep it more boring. Hold on. I was fucking around with the software for this, and I didn't realize you could have so much fun putting up things like this. I don't know if it's actually going to work. Hold on. Calibration time. Whew. There we go. I'm talking. Good times. So anyway, this is, I just call it humanity a societal example. So, being the most enlightened, intelligent race in the universe, our tests and experiments are known for their high rates of success, which brings us to our report on the latest endeavor, humans. As you know, we seeded the planet some billion years ago and waited to see how they would progress without any influence. Our findings are very unusual indeed. Read on for a full report. With every race in the galaxy, it has been universally accepted that there are 4 steps to any civilization. Number 1 is survival, number 2 is power, number 3 is knowledge, and number 4 is ascension. Basically, any being cannot jump steps without doing the previous. So, and then this is broken down into subcategories. History. Delving into their history, it is most shocking to find that they tend to move in circular patterns. History tends to repeat itself endlessly. Those with power tended to make those weaker turn against each other, and they profited. As you know, with stage 2 comes desire for wealth and the desire to live squanderously. It needs reiteration. Humans wish to have so much wealth and power that they could have their every whim taken care of and every desire satisfied. Their society makes this ideal the one true value, yet someone has to toil and harvest. Their society is basically a slavery with illusions of being a deity. Classifications. From the time we started cataloging up until our arrival, humans divided themselves into endless groups based on race, sex, profession, hobby, nationality, religion, and then in brackets with little star it's going to say, see attached file for full explanation on this phenomenon, etc. The purpose of these groups is to give humans a feeling that they are special and all other races are inferior. Humans progress very well when they feel superior to other humans who are quite equal. With our society, every being has its place and is completely equal. It is quite paradoxical that these beings only find happiness in placating their egos through subjugating others mentally or through force. Yet not working as a cohesive race only serves to stagnate, something we found out millennia ago. So resources. It seems from the time that humanity broke away from step 1, they were preoccupied with wealth and war. It was their nature to take in as much as possible of their currency, despite the fact that there was more than enough to go around. The focus became to take this wealth by force through the creation of a business wherein a group of humans would create a product and market it with impossible promises. The end result was to try to bilk as much currency out of their fellow man for the purpose of investing it and making more money. This money then sat in the possession of the business where it could have been used for endless improvements to cities and societies. Holidays. There is a time each year where humans stop being selfish and help each other out. Christmas. It was towards the end of their planetary year where generosity can range from what is to be expected to completely nonsensical frivolousness. I don't even know if that's a word. Humans want to appear to each other as endlessly compassionate, which is why we categorize humans as what they would call hypocrites. They appear one way and do the opposite when they know they won't get caught. The appearance to their peers is something they take very seriously, even if it is all false. Humans enjoy deceit and being deceived. It took us very little time to realize that if all of our efforts were in different directions, our third step would have taken considerably longer. This is the only way the humans align is with the potential for power and wealth. They had been so close to advancing to the third step, it would have been done thousands of Earth years ago. Ego. The human ego is one of the most fascinating parts of their psyche. Each human sees themselves as totally different than what they actually are, with very few exceptions. These altered views are heightened by media outfits. The very strange and backward lifestyles are glamorized and made to be sought after, yet 99.99999 repeating of all humans never attain these lofty ideals, yet put forth much effort. If any human could be shown his life as it really is, instead of being subtly controlled, we would not even be able to measure how fast and how far they would advance. Nationality is an interesting footnote of the civilization. Depending on which part of the world a human is born, they could live fairly opulently, or their life could be nothing and have virtually no rights or power. Even more staggering is the lucky few who are born in industrialized nations are content to let their brethren suffer and actually put efforts into keeping things that way. It is our failure that maybe we are too advanced and the humans are too uninspired that we cannot understand many of these ridiculous behaviors. On evolution, because humans never sought the later steps, they never evolved higher functions, such as they communicate with bacteria-filled holes in their heads and still carry their waste inside them until a suitable place can be found to dispose of it. Humans put their waste very close to where they live, which we find amusing. Their wastes are no further away than one measure from their mouths, so it's like, Politics. We were once similar in some aspects of their race, such as politics, although our system had never had a power-seeking base. It is not far off. We moved on fairly quickly, giving everyone in our race the same rules. Humans tend to rebel when they are forced into any situation, yet you give them as little as a second choice for most things, and they supplicate immediately. Yet, when everyone is allowed to make their own choices within politics, it causes natural strife and delay to the next step. Those that seek power naturally understand this and use this to their advantage so they could keep everything the way it was. Distraction. Part of the cycle for power as humans was our extreme, part of the cycle for humans, humans are extremely easy to distract. Because of their short attention spans, it was quite easy to delay the majority of humans into making no choices. To con humans out of their financial holdings for experiences. Their primitive minds crave things outside their limited understanding of regular life, yet we understood a life isn't made up of incredibly rare happenings. Humans tend to only remember the highlights and completely repress the typical situations. Without contrast, humans wouldn't notice anything. Variances. Another perplexing attribute to humanity is a concept that we have never conceptualized. When something happens to a human, they tend to visualize all possibilities. It bears more explanation. If two humans enter a competition and one wins by a slight margin, the other will highlight that it could have been won if he made different choices. As completely illogical as this seems, this helps the weak-minded humans accept circumstances outside of their control and helps give them hope that they could have won, no matter how impossible the odds were. I know that most of us will not accept this as an actual happening. There is only one set of outcome for any circumstances, and that's the actual circumstances. Reproduction. As before, there are many attributes which defy reason or logic within human behavior. Human mating rituals are amongst the most difficult to understand. Every human wants to reproduce with only the most attractive of their kind, yet what they consider attractive constitutes 5% of the actual population. There aren't enough attractive humans to go around. Humans tend to consume some kind of poison that dilutes their senses and makes the world more acceptable to help them overcome their pathetic egos. Also, each mating ritual is a variation. Some humans stay together for life, others seek only to attract as many mates as possible. If humans weren't so obsessed with superficialities, their society may have had a chance at real advancement. So this is the result, the wrap-up. It had been found out that out of the 6 billion or so humans, there are 5 who are enlightened enough to be able to migrate into our society. These great minds would only be average in our society, and it is irrelevant as any humans taken out of their own society become horribly depressed and eventually lose sanity. It seems humans cannot live with or without each other. Because the experiment was such a catastrophic failure, they posed no chance of advancement and were very close to their own nuclear destruction. Policy 27 was enacted. Their planet was glazed, killing every life form. Before we left, a new seed bomb was detonated. This is a much improved version of our last attempt. We will return in a few thousand years and and our reports will be made public. Humanity will be an example of how a civilization should never be run. They will become a footnote for failure. So yeah, I'm almost out of time, so I'll do another video, telling you why I wrote this.